Recently, Samuel L. Jackson had an interview about the movie that he's in, The Hateful Eight. And during the interview, he kind of got into some controversial territory when talking about the shooting in San Bernardino, California. Now, if you just look at this in a superficial way, you'll get offended. But if you really get behind his intentions and what he meant to say, you'll understand where he's coming from. Let me give you the statement that he gave to The Hollywood Reporter. He said, "When that thing happened in France, we were sitting there going, oh my God, these terrorists. And I can't even tell you how much that day the thing happened in San Bernardino, how much I really wanted that to just be another, crazy white dude and not really some Muslims. Because it's like, oh shit, it's here. And it's here in another kind of way." Now, conservative publications like the Daily Caller have already taken that statement and honestly made a huge issue out of it when it's not meant to be a huge issue. He's not hoping that they're white people so we can hate on white people. What he's saying is the current climate toward Muslims in America is so discriminatory and so disastrous that he was hoping that it wasn't Muslims so all of these hate crimes toward them would stop. Right?
So this morning, I predicted that the right wing would get angry at that part of the statement. It turns out, true to form, they have. Now, the second part of the statement, the left wing can get angry at.
Yes.
So let's read that part.
He says, now, okay, it happened on an army base and it happened somewhere else. But now it's like they have a legitimate reason now to look at your Muslim neighbor, friend, whatever, in another way. And they become the new young black men.
So there he's saying they have a legitimate reason to look at their Muslim neighbors in a questioning way. So if you're inclined in that direction, you say, hey, that's not cool, don't say that, right? That's not a legitimate reason. But in its entirety, I think what he's trying to say is, look, the shooting already happened. Nobody wishes for that shooting. Mm-hmm. I just hope that it doesn't lead to more hate. And so he's worried that if it was a Muslim, and it turned out it wasn't in this case, that Muslims are not going to be discriminated on as young black men have been recently and throughout American history. So he's saying it becomes a double whammy. And so unfortunately the hate reverberates from that action. So that's why he was hoping that it was a young white guy instead of, because nobody's going to hate young white people. That's just not going to happen.
No one's going to make generalizations about all white people based on what a tiny minority of white people do. That's what he's trying to get at. That's the heart of the conversation. But I think the frustrating thing about this whole discussion is how the country always gets stuck on the irrelevant details, like race or religion, when in reality, we need to focus on the solutions. And the solution doesn't have a lot to do with religion. The solution has to do with stop marginalizing or disenfranchising people to the point where they're easily recruited by terrorist organizations. Stop bombing innocent people in, Middle Eastern countries and then referring to innocents who have been killed as collateral damage. That makes it a lot easier for ISIS to recruit people. These are easy solutions, right, that we can go ahead and practice. But we don't do it because we get stuck on these ridiculous conversations about race and ethnicity and, I wish it was a white guy, I wish it was a Muslim guy. Oh, my God, we should hate all Muslim people because of this small group of Muslims that are causing, terrible, violent actions. It's frustrating because we're not going to come to solutions. We get stuck on these non-issues.
Well, some people claim, Anna, the solution is easy. You just have the courage to call it what it is, Islam.
Okay, and then, so we call it Islam. Now what? What's the solution?
It magically
what
goes
happens?
away.
What happens now?
No, it's magic, Anna. But once you say that, once you have the courage to say that,
I have the fucking courage. It's radical Islamic extremism. Radical Islamic extremism. Oh my God, did we solve all the problems in the country? Done.
Thank you. Our work is done here.
So ridiculous. Small-minded people who just have nothing better to do than hate on an entire group of people. They don't have solutions.
So
I'm not.
Yeah. So the reason why profiling is not an easy solution is because, in reality, as we've discussed on the show before, including today, people who've done the actual work on it show you that there's 5 times as many fatalities from right-wing extremist terrorism in this country in the last 13 years as there is from Muslim extremism. Obviously, yes, we know 13 years ago 9/11 happened. We know that was gigantic and horrible. And also Pearl Harbor happened. That doesn't mean we should continue to profile Japanese people. In the last 13 years, right-wing extremism has been 5 times a bigger problem. So should we profile all right-wingers? You would say, of course not. That's absurd. But when it comes to an even bigger group, Muslims in this world, 1.6 billion people, you go, of course we should profile them. That is not the correct answer. One of the correct answers is whether they're Muslim extremists or right-wing extremists, boy, wouldn't it be great if they didn't have an arsenal of weaponry and by which they could murder more people much more efficiently?
No, Cenk, but remember, we got to make sure that everyone has access to guns, including those on the terrorist watch list, because due process. When it comes to our privacy rights, fuck that. Due process can be thrown out the window. But when it comes to guns and arming potential terrorists, due process.
When it comes to executing people on death row who might be innocent, you don't need due process, right? A terrorist might not exactly be a terrorist. Just small percentage of people on the terrorist watch list might not actually be terrorists. Due process!
Yep.
Due process. Give everybody weapons just in case. And then, hey, look at that. Lo and behold, 14 people dead in San Bernardino, 21 shot. A terrorist takes action in London. He's got to use a knife. He kills no one. He injures 2, and then the police take away the knife. Turns out your weapon makes a difference. Perhaps that's a much better solution than asinine solutions that lead you in the wrong direction.